In this tutorial, we're going to look at various ways to go through events or clips on the timeline. How we go through the events will depend on what exactly we are needing to do with them, and so we are going to see what happens when we do the exact same thing, but we do them in different ways depending on how we go through the clips. So let's take a look and see what happens here. Let's begin and look at how I've created a project here. First of all, I have 4 images placed on the timeline. You'll notice I have one, then a space, and then 2 more, and then another space, and then another one. This is going to show up more in the last example than the other ones, but I just wanted to separate those so we could see something later. Now let's look at our normal code. This is how we would normally go through a track. So first we get our sequence, then we figure out what track we're going to look at, and then we want to go through all of the clips on that track. So we start with 0, and we go as long as we're less than the number of items in the clips, the number of clips, minus 1, then we keep looking at the next clip. So in this case, I'm going to get the clip itself, and then we're going to show what the number of the clip is, and then we're also going to show where the clip starts. So let's run this. So this first one is clip number 0, and it starts at 0. The next one is clip number 1, and it starts at 14. The next one is clip number 2, and it starts at 19.6. And then the last one is clip number 3, and it starts at almost 47. So you'll notice they were numbered 0, 1, 2, and 3, even though there are 4 clips. In this case, we're doing the exact same thing. We get the sequence, we get the track, and we're going through all of the clips in that track. So this time we're going to start at the number of items minus 1, and then we're going to proceed until we get down to 0. And in this case, we're going to go I minus minus at the end because we're going to go backwards. Why would you go backwards? Well, there are times when you need to process the clips backwards. For example, if we're wanting to go through and remove clips from the timeline, if we remove a clip, now all of a sudden our number of items is changed, and the item we're looking at will actually be we'll skip a number. If you go through them backwards, then you can make sure that you process them all the same. So let's see what happens when we go through all of these clips backwards. So this time we start at clip number 3, which is at roughly 47. We go backward to clip number 2, which is at 19.6. Back to clip number 1, which is at 14. And then down to clip number 0, which starts at 0. If we had gone forward and we had started removing them, the first time we're going to look at clip 0, which would be the 0th clip. If we then removed that clip, now the second clip will actually be the 0th clip, but we're going to would have moved forward in our counting, so we would have actually looked at this clip second instead of this one, because we would now be looking at number 1, and if this clip was gone, then this would be 0 and this would be 1. So by going through the list backwards, it makes sure that we don't accidentally miss any along the way. Now we're going to take a look and see what it is like to go through on the QE side. The QE side we try not to use very often, but there are a few times when you have to go to the QE side in order to be able to process things correctly. For example, if you want to add an effect to a clip, you have to do that on the QE side. But it does have some peculiarities too. So first of all, you have to have this enable QE command so that you can actually even go to the QE side. Then to get the sequence, we call the get active sequence on the QE project. Now that we have the QE sequence, we can get the QE track by using the get video track at. So by using get video track at, the get video track at is kind of like an array in that we have to pass the number of the track that we want. And so in this particular case, we want just the first track, which is always number 0. And so we are going to get video track at 0. Now we're going to go through all of the items on this track. It's not just clips in this case. So we're going to see what the difference is as soon as we start going through this. So we're going to get item at I. And so let's see what happens when we go through this. Okay, so we have the clip 0 starts at 0 just like before. And this is a type clip. Let's see what happens next. Alright, clip 1 starts at the 5-second point, which is right after this clip ends. And this is a media type empty. Then we have our regular clip, number 2, starts at 14.7. Our next one starts at 19.6. It is also a clip. But now we have another empty one beginning at 24.6. After that, we see clip number 5 is at 46.9, and that is a clip. And then starting at 52, we see it is empty once again. So you notice we went through clips 0 through 6. This is clip 0. This is clip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is after that clip. So as you can see, by going through the QE side, we look at a whole lot more pieces than just the clips themselves. So when we were able to go through clips on the regular side, it just looked at the 4 pieces. On the QE side, it looked at every piece on that timeline, so that is something to be aware of. Once again, if we wanted to go through these clips backwards, we could change this to be myQE.numItems, and we'll make that -1. Make this greater than or equal to 0. And change this to -. And you'll see here we got clip I starts at QE clip.start.secs. Notice in the QE side, instead of seconds, it's actually .secs. And then we can look at the type of that clip is what we're showing for the media type. So let's run this again. This time we'll go through them backwards. So starting at 52, it's an empty. 47, it's a clip. 24, it's an empty. 19.6, it's a clip. 14.7 is a clip. At 5 seconds, it's empty. And at 0, it's a clip. As you can see, the method you use is going to vary depending on exactly what you're wanting to accomplish. So it is nice to know the various ways that you can do this so that we can choose the correct one for the task that we need to achieve. Please sign up at www.JETDV.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.